Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Wealth of Women interview series, where I give you access to some of my most amazing friends and colleagues who are true women of wealth, who have built wealth in multiple facets in their business. Definitely, they have built wealth in the matters of money, but in many more areas beyond that in their life. And so I want to bring you this series of interviews as inspiration as to what can be done in business to build wealth, not only in our business, but in all areas of our life. So today, I would love to introduce my dear friend, Sherry Boyer of Your Amazing Soul. Hi, Sherry.
Hi, honey.
Welcome. It's so great to have you.
I'm very excited. Thank you.
Awesome. So I would just want to tell everyone a little bit about you before we begin. So I'll just take a little moment to introduce you, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, awesome. Excellent. So Sherry is amazing. She is a trained anthropologist. She is fluent in Japanese. She has earned multiple seven figures building a pet care, she says business, I'm going to say empire. And she actually now brings her expertise, her humor, and her deep insight and intuition to something that is incredibly transformative for women entrepreneurs, which is to help those women entrepreneurs bring their soul's yearning to bear while making a fantastic living at the same time. How amazing is that? So her programs and her private mentoring really, they do something that very few programs do, which is they cut through those blueprints and copycat information that you see everywhere, and they go straight to the core of what makes that person brilliant and how they can live in that brilliance. She lives in beautiful Gilroy, California with her wonderful husband, Steve, and their son. And I'm so thrilled and grateful to have you here today.
Thank you. So am I.
Awesome. Excellent. So as you know, this group that we have is based on redefining success for women entrepreneurs and really stepping into a new definition of wealth that works beyond just money, which is what we have all been typically taught throughout our businesses. So I want to start with the concept of wealth. So what does the term wealth mean to you?
Oh, boom, right out the gate. Right?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you the same thing, but since you asked first. The term wealth means to me being full of what it is that we love. Whatever that is. If it's family and our family life is happy, then we are wealthy with family.
Yeah.
If it is a business and our business is going the way that we want it to, and maybe we're only making $100,000 a year with it, that is still wealthy. It's all depends on what the person is desiring and whether they're getting what they desire or not.
Right. Yes.
So,
beautifully said.
whatever that is.
Awesome. Okay.
In my mind, it's not necessarily a portfolio, although that can be helpful.
Yeah.
Don't want to denigrate that. However, to judge only based on that, I think is leaving a lot on the table.
Agreed. Awesome. I would love to know from a business perspective, so I think this is some amazing expertise and experience that you have. What was the one thing that you wish you'd known when you started your business? If you could go back in time and tell that woman the secret or one thing that would change things for her, what would it be?
Wow, that is so big. That is the first thought that came up when you asked that question was to not take things personally when things go wrong, whatever wrong is. If they go down, if something isn't working out and people become like they can be people sometimes in their worst moments, they bring out their patterns that are not always fun and then can go into blame or shame or guilt trips or whatever. I'm just thinking in terms of customers, possibly employees, all sorts of things. Like I spent years thinking I wasn't doing enough for my employees, for my clients, for certain people. And when I look back on that whole learning curve, that learning process I went through, I realized I was spending probably the majority of my time early on with the smallest percentage revenue-wise of clients. Like somebody who spent $300 with us over 2 years was possibly being the squeakiest wheel.
Right.
And then taking so much time and lobbing blame onto myself and my business when it really was just their pattern, their habit.
Okay.
That's how their MO in the world. It had nothing actually to do with us.
Okay. Got it.
Kind of, so that is the one thing. And then so I think where I'm taking the question is, I wish that I had relied on data more than emotion. Even though I want to honor the emotions that I had at the time, I was assigning what somebody said about myself or my business. I was taking it personally.
Right.
And it really, when I data of what had happened, it had nothing to do actually with me as a person. Yeah.
Okay. Pardon me?
I hope that's helpful. I'm not sure.
Yes, I definitely think it is. I completely agree. You know, that numbers tell a story and they're not necessarily good or bad, but if we don't listen, then we can't know how to adjust.
Right.
And definitely, you know, I think we also need to be in tune with our emotions. It's really critical, but without that data to guide us, it's really, really difficult to know what the next best decision is. So yeah, I think you're totally right. Okay, so you have built a multi-million-dollar business, and I am always fascinated by what it takes to do that, because I think it takes a very disciplined and motivated person to get to that point in business, whether or not they're a woman. And so what would be the number one habit or discipline that you engaged in or did during that time that you think really helped you get to that 7-figure mark?
Boy, you are asking the deep question that I don't normally think about. So as you're asking the question, I'm thinking, what's the first thought that comes up for me? It's usually the best thought.
Yeah.
So what came to me was when I was younger, little girl, my father always said, it's a typical American thing probably, but you can do whatever you set your mind to. And so when I started my business, I didn't have a business background at all. But I kept thinking, I can do whatever I set my mind to. So if this isn't working out, I'm going to find the solution to how to make it work. And so there was a whole lot of stubborn behind the making it work. I was not going to let it fail.
Nice.
So my whole thing was, all right, we've come up on a problem. Like, the problems don't really go away. They shift over time and you get possibly better problems, or they become easier to solve.
Right. Okay.
But if people think they're going to go away, they're just setting themselves up for disappointment and are going to want to like jump off of that ship really quickly.
Yeah.
So I keep thinking, what's the solution? What's the solution? What's the solution? Is there a solution? Do we need to cut off this piece? Do we need to keep it going but change it? So for me, the habit has been from the beginning, what's the solution to this?
Okay.
How can we find a solution that's going to work for A and B?
Okay.
For both sides.
Yeah. Yeah. A win-win.
Win-win. And with a lot of stubborn behind it.
Wonderful. Awesome. So in Your Amazing Soul, I just want to talk about that for a moment, if it's okay. You really are able to tap into, the deeper elements of a person and, what their soul wants to bring into the world. So the word that comes to mind for me when I think about that is that there's an alignment between what you want from an inner perspective and what you're actually bringing into the world from an outer perspective. So can you finish this sentence for me, please? When I think about the word alignment in business, I
smile. When I think about the word alignment in business, it is everything. So when we are out of alignment, it's such a great word, because I'm super visual and kinesthetic, and I think of if your tires are not aligned in your car, you're constantly you have to steer to the direction. Like I don't even know which direction. The tires are out of alignment that way, you have to steer that way.
Right.
And so you're constantly course correcting when you go in and get them aligned, you just drive down the road. You're not having to do all of the work or all of the little teeny tiny steps that sit in your mind, constantly having to course correct into something that may not fit who you are at the deepest level of your soul. And so the work we do with Your Amazing Soul is to help people realize what their main soul energy or energies are so that they can work in alignment with that rather than constantly trying to course correct into something that they aren't or a person that they just aren't. But we get programmed and conditioned, often from childhood, by, it could be our parents who are doing the best that they can, possibly without knowing how to do it well.
Right.
And then in school and society where we are told in order to be successful, we have to do things a certain way. And that may not fit with who we are at all.
Yeah.
And so when we realize who we are, it's like the biggest relief on earth. And it's like the tires got aligned. Whew, we can go down the road without having, it's
Right,
sort of
with it.
like those newfangled cars they have that
Drive themselves. Drive itself. That's an awesome analogy. I love that. Awesome. So this has been so incredibly informative and insightful and heartfelt, like I know you always are. So I so appreciate you being here. And before we close, I know that you did mention that you wanted to give a really amazing, generous gift to anyone who is watching this interview. So I'll just pull up the screen that you shared with me, and then maybe you can just explain what it is. Okay, there it is. Awesome. So why don't you just tell us what you have available and in store for people?
Okay, great. Yes. So I created a very, well, it's sort of short ebook, basically about the 7 fatal mistakes that business owners, entrepreneurs, and people in relationships make around expectations. So this is probably one of the biggest things I've learned in running a business with employees and with clients, and then also being in a couple of different marriages, one that was a complete disaster and one that is a complete success. And also tying that to the work that I do with all of my clients, no matter what size their business, if they've just started, if they've got a solid one going, if they're in the growth stage, it doesn't matter. 100% of them have problems around setting expectations. And so, and then making assumptions. And then there's this big thing that you'll hear, oh, there's no such thing as common sense anymore. Well, I hate to tell you, there never was, because common isn't common. And so, and especially now when we're allowed to express ourselves, and it's incredibly, anyway, so this is what my book is about.
Wonderful. And where can they get it?
Yeah, it will walk you through how to get what you expect every single time.
Every time. Okay, awesome. And they can get that at youramazingsoul.com, which they can see at the top of the screen there. And then you just have to click on the you know you want it button, because you know you want it. So awesome. So I hope everyone goes and gets this amazing ebook. It has been super helpful to me. I love to know that I'm going to get what I want and expect every time. I don't know about you, but isn't that something we all want? So thank you so much, Sherry Boyer. It's been a complete pleasure, and I super appreciate you being here. And to everyone watching, thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to doing many more of these interviews of wealth of women to come. So have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you.